Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to do a little bit of an update on J-Bay. If you're not familiar, last time we talked about J-Bay, she had quite the outburst on social media talking about what it seemed like was some alleged really terrible stuff that it seemed like alleged had happened from her boyfriend. She posted a video on this was on her Instagram it's this one right here, which we can't really listen to any of the audio because it's going to be copyrighted. It's like a Lady Gaga song that says, "You don't know how it feels," right? This is what it says over and over again. And in this video, it's her kind of crying in this car, doing a little bit of puking, I guess, and then her feet. And then that's her we assume it's her boyfriend. Again, we don't know for sure, but that's kind of relevant to the situation. And then it's just all of this. Then now she's in the hospital, she's crying, it's some very obviously something very serious had happened. And she wrote quite a lengthy caption on this post. I can't really look at it per se because I am blocked, but we have basically the same caption that was posted on a GoFundMe that J-Bay started because of this whole situation. So let's go over that GoFundMe. This is the GoFundMe right here. For over a year and even longer in some ways, I've been fighting relentless trauma, isolation, and I was trapped in a controlling relationship that drained every part of me, leaving scars that run deep, both physically and emotionally. I was forced to mask my suffering while the public only saw fragments of my life that I no longer recognize as my own, right? And so a lot of this, obviously, it seems that she's talking about this relationship that she was in with this person that was her boyfriend at that time, where we've talked about this person before, right? And so again, it's never like definitely said this is the person that did this stuff, but from the context that you can kind of get out of this, that's what seems to be the case, right? There was quite the crash out on social media where she was just saying a lot of stuff, saying all of these things are going to come to light. It seemed like, there's going to be this huge revelation. All of these accusations that it just seems like someone that's kind of paranoid, right?
And yeah, I don't want to be at this hotel anymore. I do not feel safe. I just called a non-emergency. I almost just called 911 again. And just strange things happening. KPD is going to have a lot of explaining to do. Let's just say that. Good morning, everyone. Everybody, I don't know what time it is where you are. Here in Washington State, it's 2:09 in the morning.
So again, it's 2:09 in the morning and she's still doing this, right? So clearly someone in distress, right?
I needed to let y'all know because someone told me I gotta tell you, I'm okay. I know it doesn't make a damn bit of sense to y'all. I get it. It will one day. I promise. Okay, but I can't share anything right now. But what I do need you to know is you guys saved my life. You guys rallied around me, and you gave me the courage to be strong. Not for me, but for all of you and for survivors everywhere.
And then she ended up getting really upset at someone that was trying to tell her, hey, maybe calm down on all of this stuff. Someone that's also in the same space as her, being kind of like a fat positive travel influencer, and she freaked out on them. And then she said that she was going to be taking time off. And that's where my video ended because I recorded that video, I believe, on the 28th. The video didn't get uploaded until a little bit later. But then this is where the updates start. So when that video was uploaded, probably within an hour or something, maybe even less, there was a comment where someone said that J-Bay, the reason that she hadn't been posting anything was because she was actually arrested. And of course I was like, arrested? What do you mean? And so I looked into it, and that is actually true. Now, the reason I didn't do an update sooner was because I was like, okay, I'm sure this isn't anything crazy and she'll be out relatively soon and she'll be, kind of talking about her whole experience and we'll be able to talk about that. That hasn't happened yet. And it's been a while. It's been a while. I think she was arrested on the 28th of February, and it is currently, as I'm recording this, the 17th of March. So it's been a while. And so I started doing a little bit more research on what has been happening, and there actually have been some updates. So first thing that I want to share with you, now this is obviously public information, I'm not like doxing anyone or anything, is I want to go over the charges that she was initially kind of like arrested for, right? And so that's this right here. So this is inmate inquiry. This is from where, kind of where she lives. It says her name right here, Jalen Chaney. And these are the different counts that she was in trouble for. And so the first one is assault, which is actually a felony, right? And then we have criminal trespassing, obstruction of law enforcement, resisting arrest, interfering with a healthcare facility, misuse of the 911 system, and criminal trespass. So 7 different counts that she ended up being arrested for. Now, as you can see, when I first saw this part wasn't here. So where it says released by court. So it seems like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of these counts have been kind of released, but it seems the assault as well as the resisting arrest are still something that she is going to, have to be dealing with. And so I was really interested about that. And I was curious why it seems that she was still kind of in custody at least. And that's when me and Rachel did a little bit of research, and we were able to find a little bit more information as to kind of what's been happening. Now, obviously this is all alleged. I don't know. I'm not perfect with reading this stuff. Me and Rachel did the best that we could trying to understand all the court jargon. This next thing that I'm going to be sharing from, I'm not going to really share on screen. You can find it yourself if you really want it, but I don't know. It feels like there's just like a little bit too much information on here where I would feel a little uncomfortable kind of sharing the play-by-play about what's happened. But basically there's this screen, there's, a website where you can check all this stuff where it pretty much starts from the beginning of when things happened, and it lets you know exactly kind of where this person has been and what has been going on. And there's a lot of kind of illuminating stuff on there that I think kind of shares what J-Bay currently is going through. It definitely does seem that there is a lot happening behind the scenes, stuff that is, very sad. It seems like J-Bay is currently in a position that she's just not doing well mentally. And I think that that's kind of led to a lot of the things that have been happening recently, obviously not to make excuses or anything like that. But it seems that, this is someone that is clearly needs some help. And hopefully through this experience, maybe they're able to find that help because everything, it just seems like it's not going very well. What happened was that first on the 28th, she was on a 72-hour felony hold investigation. And then it basically was seen that she was going to need a public defender. Her bail was set for $2,500. And then it goes on to say there's just like a couple different things that can end up happening. Ends up being a warrant. She gets a warrant for arrest. I don't really fully understand everything that happened there. But then it is shown that there's an order for inpatient competency restoration. And from what I understand from the research that I've done was that at first it was seen that maybe she was not going to be able to stand trial because of the things that she is going through. And it seems like maybe they have decided that maybe they're going to be able to do that because on the 11th it says order inpatient competency restoration. So it seems that maybe she is going to be competent. And then on the 14th, it says that there's an order authorizing use of force, which from what I did with my research, that's basically saying the people at this facility are able to, put hands on her to make sure that, that she's doing the things that she needs to be doing. Again, I don't fully understand, but from the research, that's what it seems that means, right? And there's a couple other things. There was supposed to be a review hearing in 2 days from me recording this that ended up getting stricken down. And the comment, and this is interesting, is ESH, okay? And then the last thing on this page is a review hearing that's set for May, which hasn't happened yet. But ESH, from what I could understand from the research that I did, is this right here. So ESH, and this is Washington State. ESH in Washington State likely refers to Eastern State Hospital, a state-operated psychiatric hospital, and its connection to the court system, particularly regarding involuntary commitments and public safety review panels. So, again, through my internet sleuthing, and I am not a professional, it seems that she is basically at an inpatient facility. I don't know. I don't think that she's like behind bars per se. But it seems that she is basically being held because it seems that they obviously are worried about her mental health and kind of everything that has been going on recently. So Obviously, there's a lot of conclusions that you can draw from all of that. I know that it's a lot of information, but it seems that, she is being watched and she is having people that are taking care of her for whatever it is that she's currently going through. And this is the website for that hospital. So it goes Washington State Department of Social and Health Services, Eastern State Hospital overview, and then, just kind of all of the different things that they do. So again, it just seems like a place for, people that maybe aren't in the current space to be able to handle themselves. Now, again, that's kind of all of the information that we have now, but I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up, and I didn't want to bring this up in the first video that I did because I just didn't really care to share it. But J-Bay, probably a few days before all of this happened, had actually sent me a message on Instagram. And at first, I don't know how many of you guys are super familiar with like Instagram messages, especially now, because it's like, oh my God, it is so annoying with the corn bots that I just get so many DMs that just go straight to requests that most of the time I don't even read them, right? But I was going through them and then I saw this message, right? From J-Bay. It says, "Hey John, I hope you're doing well." And I did not read that at first, actually. This is how I found out that I was blocked, because I was like, I'm not trying to get into all this. I'm not trying to get into like her messaging me and like going back and forth. I've had bad experiences with that. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And I remember I sent it to Rachel, just the screenshot that you guys saw. And I was like, I don't want to read this. And she was like, you really should. You should really open it. Maybe she wants to reach out. Maybe whatever. Right. And I was just like, I really don't want to do that. I really don't. But then eventually Rachel, in all her wisdom, convinced me to open it. I opened it, and I'm not going to go into exactly what it said. But it was something about, there is someone out there that is doing a documentary either about J-Bay or just about the things that J-Bay talks about, and like Hayes and stuff like that, right? And they wanted to have someone that was on the other side that is an opponent of that, right? Which would have been me. And I didn't respond at first because I was like, I really don't know if I was like, is this going to be something where I'm like getting like blindsided by something? I was just really not interested at first. I told Rachel about it. After a few days, she kind of convinced me to maybe, hey, send her a message. Maybe it could be, could be good. And that's when I tried to find her page, and that's when I realized that I was blocked. And it's crazy because that is actually what got us into looking. I was like, whoa, what happened? And that's when Rachel went to her page and saw all of this stuff happening. And that's why we made the first video, and no one had been talking about it. And so it's just all crazy how this has all happened. I was not expecting this to all happen based on this, DM that I ended up receiving, that I maybe you call me a weenie for not answering it, but I just didn't want to get into it. But then now we're here, right? And so I don't really have an answer. I don't know exactly what is going to happen from here, but that's kind of the update, and how I'm weirdly, I'm not really connected to it, but like how, for me, I feel that I was connected in some weird way, and how I found out about everything, right? It's a sad situation. Hopefully she finds the help that she gets, and she's actually able to, maybe come out stronger from this. I very much so disagree with J-Bay on a lot of stuff that she has made, but I don't want anyone to be seriously in danger or seriously hurt. So I hope that everything is okay, and that, she's able to get back on her feet after this situation, whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, I don't really fully understand what is going on. I was expecting her to be out and have her own explanation, and we could have talked about that, but that's still hasn't happened yet, which I think is the most interesting thing. And so, yeah, that's kind of the updates. I just felt like I kind of had to do this because that original video, so many people, saw it, and so many people probably saw that because I pinned that comment that was talking about how she was under arrest. And so, yeah, I would love to know what you guys think. If you end up doing some more research and maybe you're able to find out more stuff, please, obviously without doxing anyone or anything like that, but if you find out more information that is helpful, please let people know, and maybe I'll pin a comment that has an update or anything like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.